Throughout history, humans have worshipped gods, a practice originating in Western Asia and South Russia. The worship of gods is the oldest religious tradition, evident across various regions. Aryan tribes embraced god worship upon arriving in Iran, with ancient statues dating back to 1st and 2nd centuries BC affirming its importance. Anahita, goddess of water in Mithraism, symbolized purity and abundance, with temples dedicated to her in different regions. Anahita's influence spread to neighboring countries like Armenia, transforming her temples into churches. Her widespread popularity is evident in artifacts found in museums worldwide. Humans throughout their long history have always had religious beliefs and played a significant role in worshipping gods in this belief system. It seems that the worship of gods began in Western Asia and the steppes of South Russia and then spread to those areas with the migration of Asian tribes to Central and Eastern Europe. Various pieces of evidence and numerous statues from all over Europe, Asia, and some parts of Africa indicate that the tradition of worshipping gods is the oldest religious tradition among various peoples. After the arrival of the Aryan tribes to the vast plateau of Iran, they divided into different groups, and the worship of gods became a common practice among these various groups and tribes. It is even said that before the arrival of the Aryans, there were traces of indigenous gods on the Iranian plateau. Gradually, other people also entered the Iranian plateau, but none of them had any influence on the ancient Iranian rituals. Instead, it was these ancient Iranian rituals that influenced those people. In the late 19th century CE, European archaeologists made a series of discoveries, unearthing statues that date back to very ancient periods, around the 1st and 2nd centuries BC. These findings indicate that the worship of gods was indeed a common practice among the ancient Iranian people during ancient times. Ancient rituals had their roots in the agricultural society of ancient Iran. Not only in Iran but even in other societies, farmers would often seek assistance from the heavens for their crops to grow, and they would also pray for the fertility of the soil. For this reason, they conducted a series of ceremonies, which later took on a formal shape and became institutionalized within various segments of society. Governments also embraced these rituals, and they played a role in the political and governmental structures. As mentioned, statues were discovered in various regions of Iran. These regions include Goytepe in Azerbaijan and the western part of Lake Urmia. Additionally, sites like Tepe-Yahu and Haji Firuz Tepe, Tape-Hesar in Domgan, Shari Sukter, Burnt City, in Sistan and Baluchistan, and the remains attributed to the Scythians in Lorestan have also been notable for such findings. In most countries and different lands, there are mythical and supernatural figures that reflect the culture of that country. Some of these figures even had a basis in historical reality in ancient times. Later, mythographers began to elaborate on these figures, creating stories and legends around them. Iran is no exception, having had its own gods and mythological figures that shaped the culture of the Iranian land from the heart of these ancient rituals and deities. In other words, the culture we have today has its roots in ancient times and ancient rituals. Rituals like Zoroastrianism and mythologies and deities like Ahura Mazda, Mithra, Roshnu, and characters like Rostam all contributed to the mythological, literary, and cultural tapestry of Iran. Among them was the divine figure Anahita. In all cultures, religions, and beliefs worldwide, the element of water is recognized as a symbol of creation, the flow of life, purity, and abundance. Water holds such significance among people that in various parts of history, it has been defined as one of the four primary elements, namely, water, earth, air, and fire. Poseidon, the god of the waters, is a figure in ancient Greek mythology. Anahita, as mentioned, is the goddess of water in the ancient Mithraism religion. Mithraism is one of the very ancient belief systems in Iran, and in this religion, there are several goddesses of water and water deities, with the most famous one being Anahita. In this tradition, they hold water in such high regard that they would gather in a region known as altar to worship water. During that time, Iranians also had another god named Zoroaster, who was a deity of equity and justice. According to the Avesta, Zoroaster had 1,000 eyes and 10,000 ears. He also had a sister named Ashi, who later transformed into Anahita, the goddess of abundance, fertility, and purity. Anahita is one of the most famous and beloved deities in ancient Iran. Her full name, Revered Anahita, contains words from ancient Persian. Aridvi means flowing, fruitful, and moist, Zura means great, and Anahita means immaculateness and purity. In Zoroastrianism and ancient Zoroastrian texts, Aridvi is considered a river, and it is said to be a river named Ardvis that flowed from the highest peak of the Alborz mountains and emptied into the vast lake called Varukasa. Varukasa was an oceanic body of water in ancient Zoroastrian texts located near the Alborz mountains, though its precise location remains uncertain today. The identification of the specific body of water referred to in ancient texts like the Avesta can vary among scholars, and different interpretations exist. Ibrahimpour David, a contemporary Iranian scholar and expert in Avestan studies, suggested that this body of water could be the Caspian Sea, which is also known as the Mars and Aran Sea. However, other scholars, like Professor Mehrdad Bahar and Professor Jahanshah Derekshani, have proposed different identifications. Professor Bahar considers it to be the Indian Ocean, while Professor Derekshani regards it as the Persian Gulf. Regarding the Vespubish tree, it's described in the Avesta as a tree with healing properties and is associated with containing the remedies for all ailments. In later Islamic literature, it is referred to as the tree of Tuba, located in paradise, where all fruits from the world are said to be found. These interpretations often bridge the gap between pre-Islamic Zoroastrian traditions and Islamic influences in Persian culture. Zoroastrians have a very ancient and sacred book called the Gonda Heshn. This book separates Aridvisura from Anahita and divides them into two sections. It states that Aridvisura symbolizes water and flow, while Anahita represents the planet Venus and signifies radiance. According to the contents of this book, all seas and lakes spring forth from Aridvisura, symbolizing the flow of water, and all celestial bodies, such as the sun and the moon, receive their radiance from Anahita or Aridvisura Anahita. In a special section of the Arban Yasht, a part of the Avesta, Anahita is described as follows: Ahura Mazda created all the waters of the world through Aridvisura Anahita, bringing prosperity to all nation. This spring was located on the summit of Mount Harburz, or Alborz, and revolved around it. Harburz was situated in central Iran and was the first dry land created by Mazda. Warm and clear water flowed from among the 100,000 golden springs towards Mount Hakar from the peaks of the Alborz mountains. Aridvisura Anahita poured water from this great spring all over the earth, dispelling the dryness of the air, and all of Mazda's creations were enriched by it. Another portion flowed into the vast sea of Varukasa. Temples were built for the worship of Anahita, with some of the most important ones being the Nahid Sanctuary in Kangarvar, Kermanshah, and the Nahid Sanctuary in Hamadan, Shush, and other places. In the inscription of King Darius I, found on the Behistun inscription, Anahita and Mithra are mentioned alongside Ahura Mazda. It states, "I am Darius I, by the favor of Ahura Mazda, this palace was built by me. May Ahura Mazda, Anahita, and Mithra protect me and my kingdom from all harm." Anahita, the goddess, is described in Zoroastrianism as a young, beautiful, courageous, and noble woman in Arban Yashtava Vesta. Indeed, the veneration of Anahita was not limited to the Achaemenid dynasty but continued into the Parthian dynasty as well. There is evidence suggesting the existence of Anahita's cult even before the advent of Zoroastrianism and Mithraism. However, during the Sasanian dynasty, Anahita was officially adopted as a religion, and grand ceremonies were held by political authorities to honor her. In the Tark Boston, one can clearly see representations of the king, Shapur II, and Anahita on one of the inscriptions. Another inscription at Tark Boston features a depiction of Ardeshir II, who is in the center of the image, Mithran on the right, and Anahita on the left. In ancient times, Anahita was not just a goddess recognized solely by Iranians, nor was she limited to the land of Iran. Her worship extended beyond the borders of Iran and reached neighboring countries as well. People even named cities after Anahita and dedicated special shrines for her worship. The people of Armenia regarded Anahita as a magnificent goddess, the mother of all knowledge, and the daughter of the great Ahura Mazda. They held great respect for her. However, as this belief spread to other countries, including Babylon, it underwent significant changes to the point where it became unrecognizable from the original religion. Anahita was sometimes compared to Saraswati, one of the four goddesses of knowledge in Hinduism, and also to Ishtar, the Assyrian goddess associated with war, beauty, love, and fertility. However, this comparison is quite erroneous, as Anahita remained a symbol of purity and chastity throughout history, unlike other goddesses associated with love and sensuality. She is often compared to Aphrodite in Greek mythology, but Aphrodite was officially regarded as the goddess of love and sensuality in ancient Greece. The popularity of Anahita in Armenia was such that the city of Achillisene was renamed to Ani, and temples built for her worship were later converted into churches. Today, artifacts related to Anahita can be found in museums both in foreign countries and in Iran, providing valuable insights for those interested in Iranian history and mythology. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like it, and share it with your friends. Do not hesitate to provide your view regarding this video by putting your comments below. Your comments would help us to improve our work, and also, they help us to take your views into account for the future topics that we select. Furthermore, you can subscribe to our channel to become aware of our new videos.